Hello, everyone. Good morning. We are reading a book called as Atomic Habits, and today we are on day 8. And mind you, we are already about to finish 100 pages soon. So, isn't that amazing? In 8 days, we have read almost 86 pages. So, kudos to all of you. And we are learning how to build habit. And I think reading in the morning at 6 o'clock after waking up is the best habit that we are trying to cultivate and trying to start our day well. And it's a great kickstart to a day. Trust me, it is helping me as well. And I'm sure if you are waking up with me and joining live, it's helping you guys as well. So let me share my screen and we are going to learn an amazing concept of dopamine. Okay, so we call it dopamine, we call it dopamine. Okay, but that is something which our brain loves. And we are going to learn that what is this kind of feedback loop? How can we create such dopamine driven feedback loop so that our brain keeps repeating that habit? Okay, so that's what we are going to learn. I'm sure you're implementing the tips and tricks. If not, then it is not of any use, right? So please implement, change at least one habit and see if it is helping or not. Okay, so we'll start the read for today. The dopamine driven feedback loop. Scientists can track the precise moment a craving occurs by measuring a neurotransmitter called dopamine. The importance of dopamine became apparent in 1954 when the neuroscientists James Olds and Peter Milner ran an experiment that revealed the neurological processes behind craving and desire. By implanting electrodes in the brains of rats, the researchers blocked the release of dopamine. To the surprise of the scientists, the rats lost all will to live. They wouldn't eat, they wouldn't have sex, they didn't crave anything. Within a few days, the animals died of thirst. In follow up studies, other scientists also inhibited the dopamine releasing parts of the brain. But this time, they squirted little droplets of sugar into the mouths of the dopamine depleted rats. Their little rat faces lit up with pleasurable grins from the tasty substance. Even though dopamine was blocked, they liked the sugar just as much as before. They just didn't want it anymore. The ability to experience pleasure remained, but without dopamine, desire died. And without desire, action stopped. When other researchers reversed this process and flooded the reward system of the brain with dopamine, animals performed habits at breakneck speed. In one study, mice received a powerful hit of dopamine each time they poked their nose in a box. Within minutes, the mice developed a craving so strong they began poking their nose into the box 800 times per hour. Humans are not so different. The average slot machine player will spin the wheel 600 times per hour. Habits are dopamine driven feedback loop. Every behavior that is highly habit forming, taking drugs, eating junk food, playing video games, browsing social media, is associated with higher level of dopamine. The same can be said for our most basic habitual behaviors like eating food, drinking water, having sex, and interacting socially. For years, scientists assumed dopamine was all about pleasure, but now we know it plays a central role in many neurological processes, including motivation, learning and memory, punishment and aversion, and voluntary movement. When it comes to habits, the key takeaway is this: dopamine is released not only when you experience pleasure, but also when you anticipate it. Gambling addicts have a dopamine spike right before they place a bet, not after they win. Cocaine addicts get a surge of dopamine when they see the powder, not after they take it. Whenever you predict that an opportunity will be rewarding, your levels of dopamine spike in anticipation. And whenever dopamine rises, so does your motivation to act. It is the anticipation of reward, not the fulfillment of it, that gets us to take action. Interestingly, the reward system that is activated in the brain when you receive a reward is the same system that is activated when you anticipate a reward. This is one reason the anticipation of an experience can often feel better than the attainment of it. As a child, thinking about Christmas morning can be better than opening the gifts. As an adult, daydreaming about an upcoming vacation can be more enjoyable than actually being on vacation. Scientists refer to this as the difference between wanting and liking, the dopamine spike. So we have cue, craving, response, reward. Okay, so first time when you get the reward, you are like normal. Okay, and then you get the reward. Then, which is the B example? You get the craving first, and reward में कुछ नहीं होता. Okay, your reward system is normal. Now, the craving is higher. Okay, but reward is low. Okay, and the D is craving is high and reward is also high. So your brain has far more neural circuitry located for wanting rewards than for liking them. The wanting centers in the brain are large. The brainstem, the nucleus accumbens, the ventral tegmental area, the dorsal striatum, the amygdala, and proportion of the prefrontal cortex. By comparison, the liking center of the brain are much smaller. They are often referred to as hedonic hot spot and are distributed like tiny islands throughout the brain. For instance, researchers have found that 100% of the nucleus accumbens is activated during wanting. Meanwhile, only 10% of the structure is activated during liking. The fact that the brain allocates so much precious space to the regions responsible for craving and desire provides further evidence of the crucial role these processes play. Desire is the engine that drives behavior. Every action is taken because of the anticipation that precedes it. It is the craving that leads to the response. These insights reveal the importance of the second law of behavior change. We need to make our habits attractive because it is the expectation of a rewarding experience that motivates us to act in the first place. This is where a strategy known as temptation bundling comes into play. Okay? So I hope you have understood that it's all about anticipation of reward, which is temptation, which is creating temptation. Okay, and that's creating more of desire. So, how to use the temptation building to make your habits more attractive? Ronan Byrne, an electrical engineering student in Dublin, Ireland, enjoyed watching Netflix, but he also knew that he should exercise more often than he did. Putting his engineering skills to use, Byron hacked his stationary bike and connected it to his laptop and television. Then he wrote a computer program that would allow Netflix to run only if he was cycling at a certain speed. If he slowed down for too long, whatever show he was watching would pause until he started pedaling again. He was, in the words of one fan, eliminating obesity one Netflix binge at a time. He was also employing temptation building to make his exercise habit more attractive. Temptation building works like linking an action you want to do with an action you need to do. In Byron's case, he bundled watching Netflix, the thing he wanted to do, with riding his stationary bike, the thing he needed to do. Businesses are masters at temptation building. For instance, when the American Broadcasting Company, more commonly known as ABC, launched its Thursday night television night for the 2014-2015 season, they promoted temptation bundling in a massive scale. Every Thursday, the company would air three shows created by screenwriter Shonda Rhimes: Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, and How to Get Away with Murder. They branded as TGIT on ABC. TGIT stands for Thank God It's Thursday. In addition to promoting the show, ABC encouraged viewers to make popcorn, drink red wine, and enjoy the evening. Andrew Kubitz, head of scheduling for ABC, described the idea behind the campaign. We see Thursday night as a viewership opportunity with either couples or women by themselves who want to sit down and escape and have fun and drink their red wine and have some popcorn. The brilliance of this strategy is that ABC was associating the thing they needed viewers to do, watch their shows, with activities their viewers already wanted to do: relax, drink wine, and eat popcorn. Over time, people began to connect watching ABC with feeling relaxed and entertained. If you drink red wine and eat popcorn at 8 p.m. every Thursday, then eventually 8 p.m. on Thursday means relaxation and entertainment. The reward gets associated with the cue, and the habit of turning on the television becomes more attractive. You're more likely to find a behavior attractive if you get to do one of your favorite things at the same time. Perhaps you want to hear about the latest celebrity gossip, but you need to get in shape. Using temptation bundling, you could only read the tabloids and watch reality shows at the gym. Maybe you want to get a pedicure, but you need to clean out your email inbox. Solution: only get a pedicure while processing overdue work emails. Temptation building is one way to apply a psychology theory known as Premack's principle, named after the work of Professor David Premack. The principle states that more probable behaviors will reinforce less probable behaviors. I'll repeat: more probable behaviors will reinforce less probable behavior. In other words, even if you don't really want to process overdue work emails, you will become conditioned to do it if it means you get to do something you really want to do along the way. You can even combine temptation bundling with the habit stacking strategy we discussed in chapter 5 to create a set of rules to guide your behavior. The habit stacking plus temptation building formula is: after current habit, I will do habit I need. After habit I need, I will have habit I want. So I hope you have understood the difference between need and want. They said we get more pleasure when we want something and we get it. And it's okay when it is like I need something and I'm doing it. the dopamine is less. But when I want something and I get it, the dopamine is high. So, what are we doing? Current habit, and I will top it up with the habit I need, and I will top it up with habit I want. So what are you doing? You are building a habit between two habits. Okay. One is current, which already happening. I topped it up with what I want to do, and then on top of it, it is like cherry on the ice cream. I put a habit that I want. Okay. If you want to read the news, but you need to express more gratitude, then, after I get my morning coffee, I will say one thing I'm grateful for that happened yesterday. That's your need. After say After I say one thing I'm grateful for, I will read the news. That is my want. Okay? If you want to watch sports but you need to make sales calls, after I get back from my lunch break, I will call 3 potential clients. That's my need. After I call 3 potential clients, I will check ESPN. That's my want. If you want to check Facebook, but you need to exercise more, after I pull out my phone, I will do 10 burpees. After I do 10 burpees, I will check Facebook. Okay, I hope is that eventually, okay, the hope is that eventually you will look forward to calling 3 clients or doing 10 burpees, because it means you get to read the latest sport news or check Facebook. Doing the things you need to do means you get to do the thing you want to do. We began this chapter by discussing supernormal stimuli, which are heightened version of reality that increase our desire to take action. Temptation building is one way to create a heightened version of any habit by connecting it with something you already want. Engineering a truly irresistible habit is a hard task, but this simple strategy can be employed to make nearly any habit more attractive than it would be otherwise. Okay, so before summary, I would like to take this up. Okay, so I have understood about this. How do we make it attractive? And this I have formed with myself, with my kids as well. For example, um, uh, if I want my child to study well, okay, so what will I do? I will block a time that after you finish a task, okay, you get to study for half an hour. After you study for half an hour, you get to go down and play. So because they want to play, they will definitely create a habit of studying for half an hour. Okay, so that is the example I'm giving for kids. So let's read the chapter summary, then I will share more example how you can make the habit stacking and make it attractive so that it becomes your formation of habit. Okay, so the second law of behavior changes: make it attractive. The more attractive an opportunity is, the more likely it is to become habit forming. Habits are dopamine driven feedback loop. When dopamine rises, so does our motivation to act. It is the anticipation of reward, not the fulfillment of it, that gets us to take action. The greater the anticipation, the greater the dopamine spike. Temptation building is one way to make your habits more attractive. The strategy is to pair an action you want to do with an action you need to do. Okay. So, for an example, I will repeat again. So, I want to. So, you need to think like this: what is it that I want in daily basis? So, like the book reading club, right? 6 o'clock morning, who will wake up and read a book? But what if I want my child to read a book? So, what did I do? I started reading a book online live. So, I kept a compass to show up in the morning. And after I do my reading, I can start my day well off. And what is the dopamine here? That I am going live every day in the morning. right? I'm showing up. So that is one thing that I have created. Other habits like workout, you can create after I finish my reading, live reading, I will do half an hour workout. Okay, half an hour workout is very vague, to be honest. You need to have a plan that I will do 10 burpees, then I will do, you can plan, or I want to do 10 Surya Namaskar, I want to do warm up. Today I will do upper body or lower body, whatever the plan is, right? After I do workout, I get to drink my coffee or tea. Okay, so that is how you start stacking your habits, you know, on top of each action that is normally going to happen, like brushing your teeth, okay, having your breakfast. So that is how you start stacking. If you have any doubt, question, you can shoot here by writing on the chat box, because this is very important. I want you all to learn this so that you can implement it. Very important. We need to release dopamine in our brain and stack the habit. So I have created multiple habits. One of them is after I wake up, I need to drink 2 glasses of warm water. Okay. The the reward is my system gets cleaned and refreshed within 10 minutes. Okay. So that is one thing. You can form a habit of night routine. So I want to do face yoga at the night before I go to bed. So I will clean my face, right? I'll wash it. I will apply the moisturizer, and I know 3 4 steps that I will follow. And what will happen after that? My face will feel, little relaxed, and automatically I will sleep. Okay. So that is how you do it. So you need to create the stack that after I finish my dinner, wind up the kitchen, I will wash my face, I will apply moisturizer, and before you realize, you will start doing your face yoga. Okay? Trust me, it helps. Okay? And after I finish my face yoga, I will immediately go to sleep. Okay? So that is how you can add reward system, because for women, sleep is the most precious thing at the end of the day. If they are working throughout, even if they are working professional or at home, they are doing so many chores that at the end of the day they want to sleep and they are too tired. Correct. So that will do two things. First, sleeping on time habit will be formed. Second, you will start taking care of your face, and next day morning when you look at your face, you will see the glow, and that will release dopamine, that yes, yesterday I did something which helped my face to glow. So this is how you start stacking habit. I want to avoid junk food. So first of all, we will work on our environment. We will make junk food invisible in our home. So all junk foods we will remove from the home. The biscuits and the wafers and chips will not be at home at all. Instead, we will refill it with lot of fruits, dry fruits. Okay, and whenever we feel hungry, if we don't have those stuff, we will end up eating what we need rather than what we want. Okay, keeping the remote control away from you, okay, will also stop you from watching TV. That every time who will stand up and switch on the TV or change the channel and all that. So that is also this is like, one is reward and one is punishment. So we are talking about punishment system, keeping the remote away. So like that, I'm explaining all these things because a lot of queries have come to me and I have been asking that how do I form the habit. So I'm trying to help you. So like this, you can start forming habits. Now we want to think of what is it that I want. I want a disciplined life. How will it come? By stacking the habit. Okay, so you can plan and stack your habits. If you have work commitment or you have cooking commitment, I can keep so I got this magnetic board, okay, to write a menu for entire week in advance. So I can write in advance, and the habit is, this is going to be my habit formation, that I want to write my menu on Saturday, that from Monday to next Sunday, what are we going to eat? And once the menu is ready, I will stock my vegetables. What is it that I will get? Peace of mind. Because for us to think, Aaj kya banaye, is the most irritating question, right? And when there is the list is there, if you want to deviate, if any of the family member wants ke aaj, I don't want to make this, please can you make something else for me instead of what is written in the menu, you will be delighted, right? That okay, no problem, but at least something is there to look forward to. So what is the dopamine there? I am at peace of mind every day because I planned well and I wrote what do I want. So what is the habit that I'm trying to form here? Planning my entire weekly meal schedule on Saturday. So how will I do it? After I finish my breakfast, I will write the menu for the next week. After I write the menu for the next week, I will go and shop all the groceries required for next week. And what is the dopamine there? That for the next entire week, I am sorted, right? And the reward system of being sorted with the thought of what am I going to cook is amazing. All women, all men who are cooking on a regular basis, they will relate to it, right? That aaj kya banaye wala question will eliminate from our life and it will make our life more peaceful. So that is how you start stacking habits. Let's do this. Comment on the chat once you form one single habit by whatever we have learned so far, and share it with us. Which habit did you form and how is the habit helping you to make it regular rather than just once? Then it is not called habit, it's just one instance. Okay, so with this we end our call today, and tomorrow we will be reading another important topic: the role of family and friends in shaping your habits. I would highly recommend, if it is helping you guys, please, please, please share it with others. Let their life get lit and help them to, become better like the way you are becoming better. I am becoming better. Let's invite at least three new people every day to join the habits book club, so that atomic habit book will help so many people to form good habit and get rid of bad ones. All right, so with this we end our call today, and we will meet again tomorrow same time. Bye bye.